Hi guys, hi, surprise here, your local voted expanding our universe back with another video. Oh yes, happy new week. Yes, I'm saying happy new week because I'll be posting this video in the next week after I post the first video after coming back. So yeah, we are wacha nisi explain vitu mingi zenye hata like si ati ni like that important, sindio? Happy new week. I hope you guys have been doing okay, one foot in front of the other, one step at a time, one day at a time, because each day leads to each week, which leads to each month, which leads to each year, which leads to your life in totality. And all you have to do is like take it a day at a time and you will be okay, because that is what I do and I am doing okay. So yeah, I bet that's a cheat code. Tested, approved and trusted. Anyway, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another, it's not an episode, it's another video basically. And yeah, let's get into it. So in the previous video I had asked you guys to put a pin on the fact that I wanted to speak on how I love the fact that I always come back to who I am, and I always find a way to come back to myself no matter what, even when the times are tough, even when like I'm going through it. At the end of the day, nitatoka on the other side of that tunnel with my light. Niliingia na light yangu kwa tunnel basically. Yeah, it's like there's always this light, and I'd like to think of that light as my heart. My heart is always... Have you guys read The Alchemist? I don't think this is the first time I'm mentioning that book on this channel. I think this is like, I don't know the how many time I'm mentioning it. But in The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho, is it Coelho? Paulo Coelho keeps referring to this voice that will always remind you of who you are and where you're meant to be. And this voice will never forget, and I tend to believe that that voice is your heart. Yeah. So so basically I didn't even write that down. I had said that I'll write that down so that I don't forget, but I hadn't forgotten because nimeikumbuka to the moment I've started recording this video. I remember that I had asked you guys to put a pin on that, and which leads me to like my next statement. Isolation is so goated in my books. Like as a coping mechanism, as an escapism kind of thing, whatever like you use this isolation for, I feel like it will always get the job done. And hear me out, like there's many other ways that you can choose to cope, or many other ways that you can choose to like process this walk of life. And my best way, and so far that I have seen a way that works for me, is isolation. So basically in isolation I get to go back to my core. Like I'm not like thinking in terms of wanting to agree with anybody else, or I'm not like thinking wanting to, or I'm not pondering really wanting to like be validated by anybody else, because it's just me in that isolated state. And in that isolated state I get to like connect back to my core of who I am. You see, they usually say that the truth of who you are is who you are when nobody's watching. What you do when nobody's watching is your true character. And I feel like in isolation you get to really see your true character and who you are, which is just like you being able to like go back to yourself. When you're feeling lost, through isolation you can be able to go back to yourself. I don't know where this is going. No, I know where this is going. I feel like I have made a lot of sense. Okay, let me just say it as I'm thinking. I feel like I have made a lot of sense, and I wasn't expecting to make as much sense as I have. So I'm trying to downplay the fact that it is actually something that means something to like something that I don't understand. I don't know. The human psyche has a weird way of working around like things when you have this fear of being seen, or this fear of being like judged, or this fear of being heard. And I feel like me saying I don't know, or me saying as a filler word, or like at the end of a statement that I truly know what I'm saying but bado ninaimalizia na I don't know, is just me trying to cover up for the fact that I'm leaving space and wiggle room to not be taken like 100% on my word. I don't know. There it is again. No, that is exactly what I mean. I know. Not I don't know. I know what I mean. I know what I'm saying. Yeah. So the reason as to why sasa nilikuwa ninashikanisha the fact that the statement isolation is so goated in my books, I think that will be like the title of this video. Yeah, that will be the title of this video. The reason as to why I think isolation is so goated in my books is because it gives me a chance to be able to be myself without having to wear a mask. Like all the masks, all the illusions, everything that I do to maybe like fit in, or everything that I do to maybe like make people like me or accept me or feel relatable to everybody else, just fades away. It's shed away basically when I'm in isolation, and then I just get to be myself. I just get to be me, truly me. And in those moments, that's when I truly get to see myself. And that is why in the previous video I was like, I am so grateful for the fact that I will always go back to who I am no matter what. Cause sasa unaona hiyo moment yenye ninajaribu to like niko peke yangu and I'm with my thoughts, I'm with my feelings, I get to see myself. Even let's say I moved mad in a situation between me and somebody, or between me, yeah, whatever it is. Let's say I moved mad and I'm like, wow, but that's not me. Like, why did I do that? So I find myself that when I choose to go ahead and self-isolate, I get to get the answers as to why I moved like that. Like, if I'm just to stay in the busyness and in the hustle and bustle of everything, the day-to-day world, I wouldn't really figure out why I moved the way I did. But the moment I choose to just go back inside and isolate and just try to figure it out, I usually find the answer as to why I behaved the way I behaved. And then I usually find whether it's something that I'd want to have repeated, or it's something that I'd want to like do away with, if it's something that reflects the values of the core of who I am, or if it's something that is totally opposite of the values of the person that I am at my core. So that just gives me the time and the chance to be able to see all that, and at the end I'm able to to pick and choose what I want to stay and what I want to let go of. And that is why I feel isolation is goated in my books. And authenticity will always win, by the way. Authenticity will always win. Because at the end of the day, who are like ukikaa peke yako, so okay, umefanya chenye umefanya in your day-to-day life with everybody. Let's say you went to work and you did what you're supposed to do at work, and then you go back home, and while you're seated at home and you're reflecting on your day, were your choices or were your decisions and the way that you are moving reflecting the core of your values, the values of the core of who you are basically. And it's drizzling. Oh my god, please hold the rain. Do you hear that? That's like some thunder. Oh my god, yeah. Like as much as you might get lost in it, ndio maana nimesema it's a coping mechanism, or maybe like an escapism kind of thing, mechanism. So to everything, like too much of anything is poisonous, obviously. I feel like that's something hizi miaka zote zenye okay mimi niko nazo kwa hii dunia, nimeona too much of anything is poisonous. So when I say isolation is so goated in my books, I don't mean like ati sasa you just be in your shell and you don't come out of it and you just focus on how you're feeling, just that. And you know, because it's this whole life thing has to do with duality. There's always duality. As much as you would need to isolate, you would also need to be able to like create community and be part of a community, and not just by yourself, because no man is an island, which is very, very true. Like no man is an island. I know for you to be able to like protect and nurture the kind of peace you are creating in your life, you would really need to be able to sieve out the energies and the people and everything that you let in to your auric field. And many at times, because not many people like to put in the work, many people don't like to put in the work, isolation would be the best decision, because now that boring life of yours yeah, that quote, that boring life of yours will save you from a lot of BS. And I do agree with that. 100%. So it's just like finding that balance and striking that balance between being able to know how and when to isolate, and being able to know how and when you are ready to be part of the community and playing your role in the community, being an upright citizen, an upright member of the community, basically. Yeah. And then something else that ties into why through isolation you get a lot of clarity, and why isolation is goated, basically. So isolation is also goated because if you have watched the series that I was doing previously before my break, the metaphysics of the mind series, I keep mentioning the way you need to sit with yourself, the way you need to sit with the emotions, the way you need to like go back into yourself and self-reflect. For you to be able to do that, you will need silence. And for you to be able to have that silence, you will need to actually isolate. If it's not like literally, like physically, you would need to isolate mentally, being able to know when to separate, compartmentalize the stuff that's in your mind. So you would still need to isolate. And you remember in the metaphysics of the mind, I kept saying the way you will find many of the answers that you're seeking, you already have them, and many of those answers you will only be able to clearly hear them and clearly be able to understand them through silence. And isolation brings silence. With isolation comes silence, because now you're just there's nothing to distract you, there's nothing to take away your focus. And if you're seeking an answer, then that's the best position in which you would be able to find the answers, through the silence that has been brought about by isolation. Yes. Anyway, we are here to find I just got into that video. Yeah, but basically in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say in this video is you need to find healthy ways to be able to cope with everything that is going on in this big life that we are building, and this big life that we are living. There's a squirrel, guys. Oh so cute. Is that a squirrel? I think it's a squirrel, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, anyway, what was I saying? My point is you need to be able to find a way. Sasa, see, in my previous video, the previous video that I did before this one, I was saying the way I have just been going through a lot of changes, and those changes just took so much of me to be able to like bounce back into my normal day-to-day life. And the way that I was able to deal with all those changes and all that was going on in my life is through isolation. So I think that is the stem of why I'm speaking on it. And so in a nutshell, I was just trying to explain of how it is good for us to be able to find the best ways and the healthiest ways for us to be able to cope with this craziness that is life. Since we are spirits here for the human experience, we can't totally ignore the fact that we are human beings. So we need to find ways to be able to cope, healthy ways to be able to cope. And my goated way is isolation. And I hope, there's so many other ways. There's people who sleep, there's people who work out, there's so many ways that you could be able to not isolate. You could be able, as I was saying, there's so many ways that you could be able to go ahead and just deal with everything, with all the big emotions, with all the big feelings, with all the big situations, with all the big happenings, right? Yeah. So I don't think I have anything else to add on that. I would just like to remind you guys that I offer birth chart readings, where I am able to guide you and basically take you through the snapshot of the skies the moment you are born, and how they influence you and how your life plays out. So book me for those birth chart readings. The link is on my about on YouTube, on my about, Once you click on my about, you'll be able to see a link tree. Go ahead and click on that link tree. You'll be able to see all the services, all the links to the different things. And then if you're booking a birth chart reading, you'll just go ahead and click on book birth chart reading, and then you'll just see the services that I offer there. And go be great, go live the biggest life you can ever conjure up in your mind. Yes, follow us on our social media handles at _yourlocal.pothead on Instagram, and my main personal account is _Nyagoha. All the other accounts, that's Facebook, Threads, TikTok, I will be attaching them at the end of this video. Go be great. Your local pothead out.